All right, hey, welcome back everybody. Today I'm going to be working on the molding on the door. You can see here, this car is pretty old and these door protector panels have taken a beating over 20 years. There's a lot of nicks and just paint scratches and it's kind of falling apart. So I'm going to fill the little holes with Bondo and paint them and walk you through the process. The first thing that I've got to do though is remove these wheel well fenders. And I actually think that I'm going to leave them off. I do like them, but I think it makes the car look like a little bit aged. I'll show you how to remove those. It's pretty easy. I've already removed them on this side, and I do have this this kind of broad scratch that I'll have to fix another time that goes all the way around the edge. I've already bonded a bit of it because I'm going to paint this side, the door paneling on this side as well. But I'm going to deal with that another day. But I do think I'm going to leave them off because I think a lot of people do that, and it makes the Land Cruiser look a little bit newer. Like I know a lot of trucks have this kind of naked wheel well fender nowadays. But so yeah, let me show you how to do that, and then I'll walk you through the process for filling these little holes and painting them. All right, so to remove this first one, it's just a few bolts. These are like a star, like Torx kind of head. I think it would be fine to use an Allen wrench. That's actually what I got the other side off with, was the right Allen wrench. And then under here, there's two little bolts. Looks like one's missing already, but those are just Phillips heads. Those are pretty easy to get out. So that's the front. The back is a bit easier a bit harder, because this piece on the door is actually held in with these little metal brackets, and there's 4 of them along the door there, and they are not that easy to get off, and particularly not easy to get off without, scratching the edge of the door here. What I did was kind of wedge a screwdriver on the other side. I wedged a screwdriver in here and popped these off, but they are really not built to come off. You can't really see it, but these things have these little teeth, 2 teeth on either side, one there and one there, that dig into the door here and then dig into the plastic of the fender on the other side. So you kind of have to get the screwdriver in here and then pull this away, and then pull the clips off. So those 4 come off, and then this guy comes off, and then this back piece is 5 bolts, 2 10mm nuts here and here, could be here and here, and then there's 3 Phillips heads that are pretty obvious here, here, and here. All right, so I've got the wheel fenders off, and I'm just kind of going down the line here and sanding all these little chips out to make them smooth. And the scratches around the wheel wells too. I haven't filled it with Bondo yet. I just wanted to take one pass at it with sandpaper first to smooth it out, because Bondo, once you get it on there, it's really hard to sand off. So I want to use as little of that as possible. So I'm sanding wherever I can. And I'm using, I think 120, 120 grit on the first pass. Then I'll add the Bondo. And you really need to use 120 on Bondo, because if you use anything smaller, it's just not that effective. Here's the other side. I've already kind of sanded a lot of this, but I haven't hit it with Bondo yet. But yeah, you gotta, after that Bondo dries, I like to sand it down with something a little heavier, like 120, and then take a pass at it with 80 or so. All right, so I got a little busy between the last video and where we're at now. So there's some work that I've done that I didn't record, but I can talk you through it here. The last video, I think I was kind of pointing out some of the dents in the door panel there, and since then I've bonded them And also bonded these scratches in the wheel well and sanded it down with kind of 3 iterations of sandpaper. I think I used 120, 300, and then 1000 to smooth it all out. Bondo seemed to work well. A little bit of advice would be to use it sparingly and try to wipe away as much as you can before it dries, because sanding it is a good amount of work. But today I got it all taped up, the right side. I've actually already painted the left side, so I have some things that I've learned over there that I'll share. But the main thing is you definitely want to tape everything. This paint is it's like a metallic-y, very fine, like metallic flex. So it floats, and it will get on your windows, and it's not easy to get off. So that's one thing. Another thing is the paint is very thin. Those flakes, when they fall and sit onto the car, when you paint it, it really has to be a smooth surface. So while I didn't want to prime, I did have to, because the primer would like kind of fill some of the scratches from sanding in. So that's definitely something you want to do. Another thing is you definitely want primer that matches the color of your car. This was kind of a lesson I learned on the bumper. I used some red primer when I painted that one, and it took way too many coats of the metallic paint, and it's expensive paint. But with the same color, you could probably get away with 5 or 6 coats. So for this whole side, I'm looking at probably 2 cans. And here I'll show you the brand that I'm using. The paint is almost spot on. It's not perfect, but it's you really have to strain to be able to see the difference. It's expensive paint. It's about $30 a can, and again, 2 cans I think will do the side over here. So I'm gonna start painting. I'll put down 5 or 6 layers here, and then I'll touch base. After that, I'll use a clear coat and go from there. Oh, one other thing with this, you don't want any hard lines, so I've kind of made the paper float around the rim. I don't want to paint the whole rim, but I think you can kind of work the contours. Like there's an edge right here that if I try to keep most of the paint under that edge, as the light hits that part of the car, you won't be able to really tell. But the other side turned out very well. I'm really happy with it. It's not perfect. It's not a professional job, but $100 is way cheaper than $600 or $800 it would cost to have this done in a shop. So that's it. All right, so quick update. I've got all the paint on, and I think I've probably done at this point 8 or 9 really light coats. You really have to do it that way with this paint, because if it goes on too fast, it kind of can glob up and look inconsistent really easily. So if I were giving any advice on doing it again, I would say take your time, just really light coats. You really have to keep your hand moving as you're spraying, like very quickly. Even if you're just doing like moderately fast back and forth strokes, at the end of every stroke it'll kind of like gum up. And then another thing that I found was key here, because it's probably about 30 degrees outside, is putting the paint can in a warm bath of water. That made a significant difference in how smoothly and evenly it came out. But you can see the color looks really good, really consistent. Halfway through my clear coats at this point. I'm hoping that these kind of soft lines that I did will turn out okay and blend in okay. But I'll show you guys one more look at all of this once the clear coat's done and the plastic and tape is off. All right, all finished, and I think it looks really good actually. It turned out definitely better than the first side. I think the key was just really moving quickly when I was painting, and using that warm water approach helped to keep it really smooth. Some of the door is dirty, by the way, the part that was covered up with plastic, so ignore that. But the parts I painted are looking really, really good. The wheel wells especially, I thought, turned out well. There's one area you can see right there where there's like the original paint right there, and then my paint. And that line, I guess I made that soft line kind of in the wrong spot. It should have contoured to the body a little bit. But otherwise, I mean, with the contours up here, you can't even tell. And if you see a little bit of a thing here, that's where I used to have pinstripes. So that's kind of an unrelated defect there, but I think those little stripes look a lot better than it did before with old pinstripes on. Anyways, painting, it worked out well. I don't know. I think it was worth it. It was a good project. It definitely looks better than it did. If you remember what it looked like with those plastic wheel wells on, made it look really dated, and you obviously can't even see the scratches that were in there from that. So I'm really happy with it. It's not perfect, but I can, take another hour or two on a different weekend to fix that area up, and I think it would be in really good shape for me. So thanks for watching.